Ladies and gentlemen, this is the day that the Lord has made. We are rejoicing and we are glad in it. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. If you are coming on, please hit that like button, hit that share button, tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know Prophet Ramon, the squad, and the Ramonepreston Show. We are live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta, and I am super excited about today's show. I'm going to be sharing with you 15 facts about the poor, the middle, and the upper class. So please hit the like button, hit the share button, tag somebody, let them know that we're live today. You might have to inbox, text, tweet, DM somebody. You might need to yell in another room and let them know the Ramonepreston Show is on and we about to get the game today. So listen, thank you so much for joining the show. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube page, would you please, pretty please, be so kind to join me on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube page. And make sure you follow me on all other platforms. You can find me at Ramonepreston on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you don't stop, and LinkedIn. I'm probably on some other platforms. My son, who is my social media manager / content creator, he's got me everywhere on social media, and appreciate what he's doing and what my squad continues to do every day to serve you, to give you the valuable information you need to properly start, structure, and scale your businesses, your ministries, your income streams, and your wealth building dreams. So just in case you don't know who I am, my name is Ramonepreston. I'm the host of the Ramonepreston Show, and we come to you on a regular daily basis to share information with you that we use every day here at Ramonepreston Enterprises through our consulting, through our coaching, and through our training. So for business and financial consulting, coaching, and training, we have solutions, we've got strategies, we've got programs, we've got products and services, and we always provide value to our community. You are a part of our community. I see you as family. As a matter of fact, we've got 5 core values that are up in our conference room. Our first core value is to treat everyone like family. Family is our first core value. And that simply means that, hey, I don't know no strangers. I don't want anybody to be a stranger to me. I want to have a relationship with people. I want to build a family, and I want people that are around me to feel like we're family. So welcome to the show. Today I'm talking about the 15 facts about the poor, the middle, and the upper class. Now, just in case you've been with Elon Musk on Mars for the past 2 days, all right, I have been talking about this 3-week campaign that we just launched. It's called the Fast Track to Financial Freedom. And what I'm doing in this campaign is I'm taking the next few weeks leading up to Saturday, July the 23rd, which is the day that I'm hosting a live event right here in Buckhead. It's absolutely free. It's called our Millionaire Mastermind. I'm taking 4 hours and I'm doing a deep dive on a lot of principles that you can put to practice to get that bag, to get your business built, to get your organization to the next level. But every day leading up to July the 23rd, Saturday, in a couple weeks, I wanted to make sure that I carve out some time to really share with you some strategies and give you some tips and some methods and some tactics that you can use to increase your income. It's not uncommon for me and my team to see clients increase their income by 30% within a few weeks. It's really not that complicated. What complicates it is that you might not have access to the right information. And if you have access to the right information, you might not have the motivation. So we want to take information and motivation and we want to put them together for the next few weeks. So as long as you show up on the show every day for the next couple weeks, as long as you participate in other things that we're going to be doing, like I'm hosting a check-in every Saturday from now to the 23rd. So that's going to be 3 Saturdays. This Saturday the 9th, next Saturday the 16th, and then the 23rd. These are going to be check-ins that we're going to be doing. But you have to be subscribed to my platform. So if you haven't subscribed to my platform, it's free to subscribe. You don't have to pay to play with your boy today. Ooh, bars. You don't have to pay to play with your boy today. That's a bar. That's coming from my old DJ Paco days. So anyway, today I want to talk about the 15 facts that are centered around the 3 income classes. Now, just in case you missed yesterday's show, I want you to go back and watch these shows. I use this graph. This is one of our graphs that we use in our Millionaire Blueprint. So our Millionaire Blueprint is our online training program for business and finance. And we teach all types of financial principles, creative tax strategies. We teach about the holding company. We teach other concepts that are really exclusive to our community, and they're proprietary. I think they are to me, because these are concepts that I've created that have worked for me to get me to where I am, and they're working for my clients. So this is one of the graphs that we use when we are teaching about the income ladder of success. So I call this my income ladder. Now, everybody got their own version of their income ladder. Everybody got their own idea of how many income classes we have, and everybody has a right to. I have a right to have my own, right? We got our own rights to have our own opinions and to have our own views. For me, I classify this as an income ladder of success that is made up of 8 stages or 8 phases, okay? So we have the poor class. We have 3 different stages in the middle class. We got lower middle, the middle of the middle, upper middle, and then we got 4 in the upper. So we got upper, millionaire, rich, and wealthy. All right, those are basically the 8 income classes, or the 8 stages of these income classes. But we really have poor class, middle class, upper class. Those are, fundamentally speaking, the 3 classes of people that we have. Now, some people get offended when you start talking about income classes. Some people take it personal because you call them people poor. Man, ain't nobody thinking about that. We need to be aware of what's going on, and we need to be aware that there are systems and infrastructures that have been built to keep us stuck in certain classes. And if you don't think there are systems and infrastructures that have been designed and built to keep you stuck, then that's why you stuck. So you need to have a heightened awareness of the fact that, listen, there are income classes. And guess what? Where you are categorically considered is going to have a lot to do with what you have access to, what resources you have at your disposal. And it probably has a lot to do that determines where you go in life. So we have to change this narrative. I'm changing the narrative for me and my family. Truth is, I have changed the narrative for me and my family. I have made sure that while I live on this earth, my family ain't gonna be struggling. And when my time on this earth is up, my family ain't gonna be struggling, because they have been put in a position to be set for life. But it all started with me having a heightened awareness of where I was, so I can figure out where I want to be, okay? So I'm going to be talking about these facts in a few moments, but I want to just bring you up to par to where we at, okay? So based on these 3 income classes, as you see on this diagram, 29% make up the poor class. 29%. Now, these percentages are really based on the 130 million households in America. So there are 130 million households in America. Okay, give or take a few million, but let's just say it's 130 million households, not people, households. Well, out of the 130 million households in America, 29% of those households are considered poor class, which means those households make $32,000 a year or less, right? So categorically, that would be considered poor class. Poor class. Now, we'll get into some details on that. 70% of households in America make up the middle class, which means they're either lower middle class that makes $32,000 to $60,000 a year in the household, middle of the middle, $60,000 to $110,000 a year, or upper middle, $110,000 to $400,000. That's 70% of America. Most of these 70% of households in America are really not the 110,000 to 400,000. Most of them are like 60,000 to 110, especially if it's two-person households. So we're not going to be confused and think everybody making six figures. Everybody ain't making no doggone six figures. And then we got 1% of households in America that make up the upper class. So that means if you make $400,000 a year or more, categorically speaking, you're considered to be a part of the 1%. And anything above that, you go into being a millionaire, you become rich, and you become wealthy, okay? So those are the three income classes: poor, middle, and upper. And here are the percentages of the households in America that make up those income classes. Now, yesterday I told you when we were talking about this, number one, you need to know where you are. You need to be able to look at some income ladder like this and identify with, where am I? Not to feel bad about yourself, not to be, belittled or undermined as if you're not intelligent or you got an issue. You just need to know where you at, okay? Because we want to put a financial GPS in place to help you get to where you want to go. So you got to identify with where you are. When you identify with where you are, then you can start talking about where you want to go. Then you can start talking about that. My personal recommendation is your worst case scenario. Like if I had to help you set a financial target, a freedom target, I would say your bare minimum target should be right here. You should be trying to figure out, how can I make the 1%? How can I get to a point to where I make $400,000 a year at least? Because if you know anybody that makes $400,000 or more a year, if you know anybody who makes $400,000 or more a year, I want you to ask them, what is the big difference between them making $400,000 or more a year or when they were making $100,000 or $200,000 or $80,000? Just ask them how different it is. Because a lot of people like to listen to people like me and say, oh man, you crazy. You act like somebody gonna be able to make 400 grand. Well, that's your mindset. You can make $400,000. You shouldn't have the mindset. So now, before you even get to this, you need to go back to educating yourself and working on your mindset. That's why yesterday I was talking about, this is a spiritual thing. This is a mental, emotional, psychological, environmental thing. It's not just a financial thing. That's why most people never break through any income classes, because they just think it's a money issue. They just think it's a money thing. It ain't a money issue. It ain't a money thing. It's a mindset. It's an environmental thing. It's a psychological thing, because a lot of Americans and people around the world too are programmed. They have been programmed. They have been put in systems and processes and infrastructures that have programmed them to believe that there's no way they can achieve anything more than what they have. And this is one of the reasons why most of the people in these categories right here, every time they try to move up, they end up going back down. They can never get ahead. People are spinning their wheels. You know why? Because of the information and the programming and the mindset. And it ain't even other people. It ain't haters. It ain't even the enemy. It's them, because deep down inside, they have been programmed to believe this is where they belong. Now, it doesn't mean, let me just say this as a disclaimer, it doesn't mean you have to be a millionaire if you don't want to be a millionaire. Ain't nobody telling you got to be anything. But what it does mean is, even if you just wanted to be comfortable, to make about $100,000 a year, Well, you should have the mindset to set a target to at least 4, because you probably end up landing at about 110. You get what I'm saying? So it ain't just about you saying, oh, I need to be a millionaire. Well, maybe you do. But if you do want to be a millionaire, you need to be thinking about how you can make 10 million. But what you can't do is think, oh, I just want to make $100,000. Basically, I just want to be in the middle. And now all your targets are middle targets. All your actions are middle actions. All your learning and your efforts and your time is being invested into middle things that end up getting you stuck in the middle. You never even get what the middle can get. Because the truth is, even if you're making $110,000 a year and you're right at the verge of going to the upper middle class, are you really making $110,000 a year? Not if you working a job. Because you got to pay taxes, insurance, you ain't even think about all that stuff. So you really have to be able to rise in your targets mentally, psychologically, even emotionally and spiritually, because you're going to need that fuel to be able to do more than whatever it is that you're doing. So today I'm going to be talking to you about the 15 facts. 15 facts, okay? 15 facts about the poor class, the middle class, and the upper class. I'm going to have to flesh through these real quick because I don't want to waste your time, but these 15 facts are real powerful, okay? So let's get to them. I'm going to give you 5 facts for each, okay? I'll give you 5 facts for the poor class, 5 for the middle, and 5 for the upper. So for the poor class, fact number 1, the poor class are not the majority. The poor class are not the majority. Let me see if I can write these down fast enough to give them to you. Okay, so facts about the poor class. Come on, baby. So number 1, the poor class are not the majority. A lot of people don't even believe that. A lot of people believe everybody in America is categorically poor, when the statistics show, the data shows, only 29% of households in America are considered poor class, which means they make $32,000 or less. It may not mean anything to you, but you just need to know, because a lot of the information you got is wrong, okay? There are more middle class people than there are poor class people. This fact should inspire poor class people to remain the minorities, but just in the 1% category. So you hear what I said? So if you're making $32,000 or less, you're the minority. Most people are making more than that, but you don't want to be in the middle class. You want to stay in the minority. You just want to move from here to here. You just want to move from the 29% to the 1%. You don't want to do this. You want to try to skip this part. If you can skip being a part of that 70% and you can set your targets to being 1%, it's going to change everything you do. That means you got to get information from this area. You can't be getting information from this area. This is why I do not listen to anybody who's in this middle class. I'm not listening to nobody in that area. I'm not taking no advice from people in that area. I'm sorry. I'm just not, because I already know you're wrong. I already know you're delusional. Hey, we just had somebody tell us yesterday on the show that they were in the middle class and they said, yes, we are delusional. Like literally somebody said that on the show yesterday. So I don't mind being the minority. I just don't want to be the 29% minority. I want to be the 1%. So fact number 1 about the poor class, they are not the majority, okay? The poor class know they're poor. So you don't have to remind poor people that they're poor. They know their situation is bad, okay? Especially when their circumstances remind them about this every day. And this is not like a smack in the face, because I've lived below that poverty line for the first 26 years of my life. So I know it's hard to get past that. especially when you're not putting yourself in a position. So I'm not saying that there are not certain systems and infrastructure set up to keep people under the poverty line, but what I am saying is, if you are under $32,000 a year and you are categorically considered poor class and you are listening to me, and you have a phone, you have access to the internet, you have access to this type of communication, you can change your situation. I'm not trying to bash you or make you feel bad. I just want to encourage you and inspire you to know that as hard as it is to be here, it's a little easier to get out of there if you learn more information, if you put yourself in a position to just study, to just educate yourself, to just train, and it's going to start changing how you think about this, and it's going to start opening you up to other possibilities, to a greater potential that you can live in for your future, okay? Fact number 3, the poor class can easily become enabled by support. So this is a fact, easily enabled by support. So listen to this. Since there are systems, governments, and organizations that support the poor class, they can easily become enabled by support. This can also result in being disabled from pursuing financial freedom. So one of the bad things about being a part of the poor class is they've got systems and governmental programs and things that people do for you when you're here, but the only way you could get that help is if you don't climb the ladder. So you can't get any further because they're not going to give you Section 8. They ain't going to give you housing. They're not going to give you subsidies, you know, like for your insurance for your kids or WIC. And I'm not saying those things are not necessary. People need them. I was raised poor, so my grandma, she got food stamps for us. You know, she got all the white government cheese and cereal and bread and milk. We used to go to the Catholic church across town, and we used to get bags of food. We went to rummage sales and we bought clothes. Like, I know what it is to be poor, but it still doesn't mean that I have to accept that. So even if you have to accept that at a certain point in your life, well, don't accept that, but you're not doing anything to change. So I'm not going to bash you, but I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm not going to let you use this as an excuse for the rest of your life that, well, you know, the white man just got us stuck, and, you know, the system is rigged, and they just ain't giving us no opportunities. Well, if you're listening to me, if you're on social media, if you got a phone, you live in a world that's not void of racism. You live in a world that's not void of booby traps that's set up to keep you down. But you are also in a world that's not void of opportunities. You just got to be willing to put the time in to get better at doing what you need to do. So if you're spending all your time on social media goofing off, you know everything that's going on in the world, but you ain't putting no time in to become a better version of yourself. So nobody in this situation can give me no lame excuse when I told y'all yesterday, I know what it is to live below the poverty line. I don't think at any point in my life up until I was about 26 years old that I ever made more than $32,000 a year. Even when I was a criminal in my teenage years in the streets selling dope and doing everything I needed to do to survive, I don't think I ever made $32,000 in a year. Even when I finally got cleaned up and got my life together and got saved and started working a regular job, I ain't never make more than $10 an hour, $400 a week, unless I worked overtime. But the only thing that saved me out of this, that saved me from being stuck in this, I'm talking about outside of God and the Holy Ghost and, you know, the Spirit just being a blessing to me and helping me, just naturally speaking. The only thing that really helped me to get out of this was the information I started learning. And when I first started, this is why I don't let nobody give me no lame excuse. When I first started educating myself about business and finances and money and wealth, I didn't have money to pay for nothing. I couldn't buy no programs. I couldn't pay for anything. I used to go to Goodwill and I used to buy 50-cent books. One of the first books I found at Goodwill was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It had recently came out and I found it. I probably paid $1.25 for the book. That was one of the first books I read. I bought encyclopedias from Goodwill. I bought any book I could find on business or money and finance and leadership, anything I would find. I would go there at least once a week and look through those books while I'd buy me some church clothes because I ain't have no money. But guess what? I started educating myself and I started realizing that, man, knowledge about this, wealth and riches and stability, this knowledge is valuable. So now we live in a world that you can Google, you can research, you could go to my YouTube page and start watching videos. Okay, maybe you can't afford me as your coach. Okay, I understand. Maybe you can't hire me to be a business consultant. Maybe you can't join my online training programs and get all the game that I'm giving out, millions of dollars worth of game. But it don't mean you can't go to my YouTube page and watch them videos. It don't mean you can't Google other videos. It don't mean it ain't no free ebooks out there. You got to make a decision that you don't want to be here, okay? But the poor class, this is a fact. They're easily disabled because there's always a reason. There's always an excuse that people are going to give you for you to stay there because you don't want to lose your benefits. You don't want to lose your stamps. You don't want to lose your Section 8 voucher. At some point, you got to make a decision. Is it this or is it greatness? Is it this or is it potential? You're going to have, like, there's no magic pill for this. Listen to me. It ain't like something going to happen magically and you wake up one day and you like, I don't need Section 8 no more. I don't need Medicaid no more. I don't need food stamps. And don't just look at me and say, oh, you can say that now because you better off. No, I had to say that when I was below this level. I had to say that when I was below that level. I had to build the muscle and every day wake up struggling, broke with nothing, not knowing how I'm gonna make ends meet, but I still had to learn. I had to educate. I had to grow. I had to grind in my mind until one day I started seeing things happen and I realized, oh my God, it's starting to work. And I had to experience so many losses in the process. You got to go through that. You got to do it. Number 4, the poor class are not poor. They're not poor in mind, in the ideas, or in potential. These are facts about the poor class. The poor class are not the majority. The middle class are. The poor class, they know that they're poor. You ain't got to tell somebody who poor that they poor. They know they poor. They know the situation they're in. Number 3, the poor class are easily enabled, which is true because you get all the benefits here. They give you all the perks here to keep you poor. They give you all the perks. Long as you stay under a certain tax, not tax bracket, but as long as you stay under a certain income, you gotta now if you want to start, if you getting help from the government or you're getting help from certain organizations, in order for you to keep getting that help, now you can start a business, but your business got to be under the table. Now you can't do taxes, you can't hire people, so you really never grow. You just shade tree your way through life. At a certain point, you got to cut that crap and say, you know what, forget this, man. I want freedom. I want freedom for me and for my family. I'm not with this. And that's what I did. I made that decision because I grew up like that. My grandma was poor. My parents were crack addicts. I had nothing. But when I became an adult, it was the hardest thing that I did, but I made a promise. And this is just my story. Everybody got their own stories. But as an adult, I made the decision. I'm not falling for the okie doke. Because I saw what it did to my mama and my grandma, and they did what they had to do. But at the same time, hey, I don't want to do what I have to do on that level. If I got to do what I got to do, then that means I just got to educate and train and learn and grow and learn something and figure it out. But I'm not going to just do what I got to do and settle for that, okay? The poor are not poor in mind, ideas, and potential. No, they're not. Poor class people are some of the most intelligent people on the planet. They just don't have the resources or don't recognize the resources to experience financial freedom. See there? So some of the greatest minds, some of the greatest ideas, some of the most powerful potential poor people have, people who are below this number, is just that they don't have the resources or they don't recognize the resources that they have. So on one hand, yes, some of these people don't have resources, but a lot of them don't recognize the resources because they put a blind eye to it. Because like I said, I got 1,700 videos on YouTube. So there are people who know me, who know where I come from. Let's just say, for example, if you know me, you know where I come from. Okay, you don't want to buy nothing I sell. Okay, good. He's another internet guru. All right, think what you want to think. But guess what? It is what it is. You can still go to YouTube and watch. I got 1,700 videos on there talking about money, business, wealth, being a millionaire, getting the bag, finances, God, all this stuff. But people will rather go and play on TikTok. They're not monetizing. It ain't like they making money on TikTok. They rather watch memes and video skits of people goofing off, playing games, just waste their time rather than learning something. So that means you can't use as an excuse, oh, I ain't got no help. I ain't got no No, you don't want to accept it and recognize it. I'm just being 100 with y'all. All right, number 5, the 5th fact about the poor class. Most millionaires come from here. So most millionaires come from the poor class. Statistics show that most millionaires are first-generation millionaires who started their financial journey from poverty. Did you know that? Most millionaires today started from humble beginnings. They are first-generation millionaires or self-made millionaires. So when you hear self-made millionaire, stop thinking, especially all you church people that's always hearing that and be like, I ain't self-made, I'm God-made. Oh my God, people just get on my nerves with that. Just because somebody say they're self-made is not meaning that they're taking God out of the equation. That's what ignorant people say. When you say you're self-made, what you're referring to intelligently, you're referring to the fact that it was a self-starter. You had to figure out the steps to take to become a millionaire. You're a first-generation millionaire, perhaps, because you had to do it yourself. You didn't get other assistance or help. It has nothing to do with you taking God out of it. People just be extra to make themselves sound like they're important, when the truth is most millionaires came from poor. They came from the poor class, okay? So those are the 5 facts about the poor class. Now let's talk about the middle class. Just in case some of you make up 70% of the middle class, let me give you some facts about you, because I don't want to feel like I'm talking about poor people all the time when I used to be poor. So I can talk about all of it because I've been all of it. So facts about the middle class. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me give you 5 facts about the middle class, all right? Fact number 1, the middle class is the hardest hit. They're the hardest hit. Studies show that the middle class are treated like they're well off, but living like they're falling off. They are generally denied the benefits of the poor class, but they can't afford the necessities of the upper class. That's why the middle class are hit the hardest, because the middle class person, somebody who makes $32,000 or more a year, they probably can't get WIC or Medicaid or Section A or all these benefits that the poor class get, but they live like they upper class. That's how most middle class people live. Most middle class people got 2 nice cars, a dog, maybe a cat. They got a nice house. They got nice jobs. And they really don't have a lot of financial stability long term. Most of them don't. Most of them living off credit cards. And I've been there. Because like I said, when me and my wife started making money, once we hit this middle class, we was like making money, making six figures. We had all the little bells and whistles that most middle class people have, but we were just living check to check, credit card to credit card, cycle to cycle. It wasn't really like we was up here just, we might look like that. And most middle class people I know, they wear designer clothes, they buy, you know, I wear nice clothes, but I can afford it too. So if I spend $400 on a belt and $600 on a pair of shoes, I don't have to do it, but I can do it because I'm not stuck in some income class that's going to make me look like I'm better off than I am. You get what I'm saying? So they're the hardest hit. Number two, the middle class live rich, but are poor. Middle class live like rich people. The middle class people buy things they can't afford to live like the rich. One of the reasons for this is because banks typically loan money to middle class people based on their gross income, not on their net income. As a result, the middle class become extremely indebted to things with no exit out of the cycle. Yeah, so middle class people, they live like rich people. They live like rich people. They wear rich people clothes. They drive rich people cars. They live in rich people houses. The problem is they don't have rich people money. They got credit, or they're just blowing all their money and they're living like they're rich, but they're really poor. They're really poor. So if you're making $200,000 a year and you spending $200,000 a year, well, you broke. So you got to learn how to live on less than what you bring in so that you can at some point move up that ladder. Number three, most of the educational and financial information is designed to make you middle class. So basically, let me just put it this way. One fact about the middle class: wrong information. Wrong information. All that information is wrong. It's wrong. It don't work. If it worked, why are so many people in this section that's struggling? If it worked. If you study the school systems, college systems, and financial educational systems, they are overwhelmingly designed to teach you how to become middle class, period. In other words, they teach you how to get a good paying job, get good interest rates for loans, get things that make you look rich, and become a slave to that cycle for life. Point blank, period. Number four, the middle class are typically book smart, but not business savvy. So book smart, not business savvy. So middle class people are typically book smart, but not business savvy. The average middle class person knows how to support the rich, but not become rich. This limitation is due to information that may work for them in a profession, but it never works in a business. So a lot of the information that entrepreneurs use is information that they're bringing from middle class thinking. And they think that information is going to help them build a successful business. It's not. I tried it. And remember, I came from the bottom. So by the time me and my wife started getting a little momentum in our business and making a little money, we got stuck in the middle class, and we realized all the information that we was gathering and listening to, and the same information everybody else around us was gathering and listening to, was information that was designed to keep us there. It would never break us through. Because I kept hitting ceilings every week, every month, I'm like, or every year, I'm like, man, why can't I get ahead? Why can't I break through? Well, you can't break through. You can't operate beyond your knowledge. Number five, the middle class is disappearing. The middle class is disappearing. What do you mean 70% of American households are disappearing? Eventually, what is considered to be the middle will categorically become the bottom. Yes, this number here, this group of people here, they're going here, man. I'm telling you, it's happening. It's happening every day. It's happening while we're talking right now, whether you believe it or not. I just choose to believe it because I got different information. I know that the 70% are becoming poor. One of the reasons why it's not commonplace today, why people are not talking about this, is because too many economic systems and institutions rely on the existence of this income class. That's why what I'm saying to you right now, people don't want to talk about. Because most of what you see going on with systems and institutions depends on this group of people. People get, when somebody gets elected in the United States of America, do you think they're getting elected by the 1% or the 29% or the 70%? Come on, man. You know better than that. You ain't goofy. We ain't crazy. But it don't even matter about the politicians. What matters is about your financial situation. What are you going to do about your money? What are you going to do about your business? What you going to do about your legacy? I don't care nothing about all that other stuff. Because I hear a lot of people, I'm in both worlds. I'm in the business world, I'm in the church world. And I always hear church people, a lot of the church people come from poor classes. We come from the hoods and the ghettos. We come from very humble places. So when we finally get God and we get saved and we start becoming members of the community and, like productive citizens, we ain't committing crimes no more. All of a sudden we get taught a new set of information to make sense on why we should stay here. Because now what we're being told is, well, at least you ain't in the third world country. At least you ain't in Afghanistan. At least you ain't in Ukraine. My grandma used to say that sometimes. You need to eat all your food. Somebody on the other side of the world is starving. But the truth is, it's going to always be that way. You're going to always have people who are poor. You're going to always have struggle. This world is tore up. It's a broken planet. So you can't change all that. What you need to be focusing on is changing your situation and the situation for your family so that at some point you can start helping other people in your community and in your world change. That's the game. But if you ain't getting it, how you gonna help other people get it? It ain't gonna happen. Here's my final 5 facts, and this is about the upper class. Man, I'm giving y'all some game right now, which, by the way, everything that I'm sharing with you, it's right out of my playbook, the Millionaire Blueprint. This course is called the Income Ladder of Success. And this is the course that I'm instructing everybody that's with me in this campaign for the next few weeks to go watch. I want you to go watch this course, and I want you to really work this information into your mind so that you can reset yourself and make some corrections spiritually, psychologically, mentally, emotionally, environmentally, financially, and even professionally, so we can move you ahead. Because if you don't get this thing here, like mentally and psychologically, you're not gonna get in the game. You're not going to be able to deal with the pressure that comes with trying to climb this ladder. It's heavy pressure. It's a lot. It's a big fight that you got to put up, because you're not just fighting against, let's say, trying to find a job or trying to make money. You're fighting against poverty. You're fighting against systems and infrastructures. You're fighting against people. See, when I talk like this, I already know a lot of people in these categories, they don't want to listen to me. And I don't care, because I've been there. So if they don't want to listen to me, good. They not around me anyway. I'm not going to be stuck in this, because I've been in prison there, and I'm not going to live in prison there. I'm moving on. I'm moving my family on. I hate poverty. I hate struggling. I hate the life that comes with a lack of information and a lack of resources and a lack of drive and ambition and dreaming. I don't want that anymore. I'm not living like that. I refuse to live like that, and I refuse to live around people who like that. So again, the people in this group here, these two, they don't want to hear that. A lot of people don't. So if you got 70% of people that's middle, 29 that's poor, that means you got 99% of the world is stuck. And most of these people don't want to hear what you're talking about. So you got to make a decision that you break away. And unfortunately, it's going to cost you some relationships. You're going to have a lot of people, especially if you are in the church, If you in ministry like me, if you a preacher or a leader or a minister, oh my God, you gonna hear it. You gonna take a lot of flack from people who saying you done sold out, you ain't anointed no more, whatever. At least I ain't struggling, if that's what you call it. Because what they're saying is you stop making sense of being here. Yes, I can't make sense of that no more. And I'm never going to make sense of that. So here are my last 5 facts. The upper class is more of a discipline. This is about discipline. This is more of a discipline than an income class. Listen to this. One of the most common comparisons of the upper class is that they are extremely disciplined people when it comes to business and finance. Being up here is about discipline. It ain't about getting over. Now, of course, there are a lot of people who up here, they got some of this old money up here. See, I come from a city where like we lived in a community where I grew up at, where it was a small community, maybe several hundred people in this community, small town, maybe a couple hundred people in this community. But it wasn't a lot of money in there. Like it wasn't a whole, like we was poor. Like we didn't have a lot. Like my neighbor that had an AC unit in their house, we thought they was rich. They had like real TVs and video games, and they had 2 cars, and we was like, oh my God, my grandma, she puts the shopping buggy to the store and a shopping buggy back home to go grocery shopping. We didn't have a stove in our house. We had a hot plate. We didn't have a washer and dryer until like the 90s. So I know what being poor is. We had roaches everywhere, mice everywhere. We lived with roaches and stuff. Like, that's how we grew up. We was poor. So for us, it was like, you know, this is the way life was. But the upper class people, they understand discipline. So we grew up like that, but then a mile from where we lived, there were billionaires. One of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the country, on the planet, we was a mile away from. So we're in this little hood, this little ghetto, crime, drugs, everybody addicts, and you know, it's just going down quick. But then a mile away from us, you got some of the richest people on the planet. Come on, man. So we already know some of these people had old money. So there's a whole lot of systemic stuff going on. But outside of the systemic stuff, there's still ways you can move up that ladder. Because now it ain't the same way it was 30 years ago or 60 years ago or 29 years ago. Now, you know, I mean, I just seen an article the other day, a YouTuber who is like 15 years old is making like millions of dollars a year on YouTube. And I'm not talking about like a white YouTuber, a black YouTuber. Young kids are making money. You get what I'm saying? Number 2, the second fact about the upper class. The upper class typically spends passive income. So people who are in the upper class, they typically spend passive income for luxuries, while the poor class and middle class spend all of their earned income on luxuries. The upper class use leverage, assets, and investments to create passive income for luxuries. So an upper class person, somebody who makes $400,000 or more, what they're going to do is they're going to be disciplined. So they're going to take their money and they're going to put their money in an asset. And when they put that money in the asset, that asset is going to start kicking out cash flow, which is called passive income. And then they're going to buy things with that. So they're going to recycle that money several times before they go out there and buy the bag or, you know, goof off and flodge for people. Okay, number 3, the upper class are some of the most generous people on the planet. So upper class people are some of the most generous people on the planet. Like, I got to be honest with you. Everybody that I know personally, everybody that I'm telling you this, everybody that I know personally that makes $400,000 or more a year, that's considered upper class millionaires, rich, wealthy, or a part of the 1%, every person I know is generous. I don't know a person who's not generous. Now, I'm sure there's some out there. You got stingy people, you got stingy poor people, stingy middle class people, and stingy wealthy people. But I personally don't hang around those kind of people. The people I know, they'll be the first to give. They don't want you to pay for the food when they go out to eat with you. They always trying to help you. They're generous people. Poor people and middle class people think upper class people are stingy and snobby. They're actually very generous to their families, their churches, their communities, and to the world. The upper class know how to use different vehicles to distribute their generosity. So upper class people, they know how to use certain vehicles because they're generous people. They're going to start businesses. They're going to hire people. They're going to create opportunities for people. They create foundations. They have nonprofit organizations. They plant churches, hospitals, schools. They are generous people, okay? Number 4, the higher you go, the more systems you need. So the more money you start making, this is why I always teach about systems. The more money you make, the more systems and processes you're going to need. Systems are by far the biggest differentiator of the stages within the upper class. So as you go up this ladder, the more systems you're going to need. For example, an executive can become upper class by making $400,000 a year in a corporate position. But an investor in that same company can generate $40 million in dividends from their stock investments. So think about that. You can have a corporate executive that makes $500,000 a year running a company because they're the executive. But then you got somebody who's an investor in that same company and they make $40 million a year because they get dividends and distributions as an investor because they own stocks. So think about it. The one who running the company made $500,000. The one who invested in the company make $50 million. So what is the difference? The difference is in systems. So the executive is working in the system with no exit or no information on how to be a part owner of the system, and the investor is investing in the system. So systems play a big role as you go up that ladder. And my 5th fact about the upper class. The upper class are almost never satisfied. And again, I say this in a very humble, at least I'm trying to say it in a humble and just really mannerable and respectful way. When you say upper class people are never satisfied, I said almost never satisfied. It's not about the money, it's about the mission. Because what happens is the better you do, the more you realize you can do for more people. So the more you want to do because you want to be able to do for more people. So if I was just selfish, if I was just thinking about me and my wife, man, it's a whole lot of people that wouldn't be where they at right now in their life. It's a whole lot of people that got opportunities today that they wouldn't have. And I'm thankful for that. I'm grateful for that. I say that humbly and with just real genuine appreciation to God that I've been put in that position. But if me and my wife only focused on ourselves, there are a whole lot of people that wouldn't have had opportunities and wouldn't have opportunities. Because we could just be doing our own thing, making our own money, living our own lives, spending it all on us. But that's not what we chose to do. So that means we can't be satisfied. Because every time we get to a place to where we feel like, man, we good. Wow, thank you, Lord. God is good. Doors are opening. We got a little flow coming in. New things are happening. We think about, man, who need our help? Who need us to be in a position so that they can have an opportunity? How many more people can we hire? How many more people in our church we can help? How many more families we can support and serve? That's what we think about. So upper class people are typically, are almost never satisfied. This is not because they are selfish people. It's actually because they typically possess obsessive convictions to help so many people and change the world. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I just gave you one of the most powerful lessons through the 15 facts about poor class people, middle class people, and upper class people. And so here's what I want you to do. If you are not a part of our business community, if you're not a member of my coaching program called the Millionaire Mentorship Program, if you are not a member of our Millionaire Blueprint, our online business and financial training program, and you want access to information like this, you may want to be a part of my coaching, to participate in our weekly coaching calls. Maybe you need to sit down with me to participate in our workshops, because you really want to build something successful. For the next 2 weeks leading up to July 23rd, we're on this campaign. It's a fast track to financial freedom campaign. And so I'm asking everybody that's on our programs to watch the course, to go back through the course. It's called the Income Ladder of Success. Okay? That's what the course is called. So if you're a member of our Millionaire Blueprint or our coaching program or whatever program you're a part of, most likely you have access to our Millionaire Blueprint, okay? And all you have to do, I'm gonna pull it up for you real quick. For those of you that don't have it and you want access to it, I want you to text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213, okay? I want you to text the word millionaire. Let me pull it up for you real quick. Text millionaire to 404-478-7213. If you text that word millionaire, we will reach back out to you, because I really want you to get access to that program so that you can start training. This Saturday at 2:00 p.m., I'm going to be hosting a check-in. And what I'm going to be doing during this check-in is I'm going to be giving you some tips and strategies and some feedback from this course. And I'm going to be sharing with you what we need to do moving forward into next week so that you can start accelerating or fast tracking your finances. Like, there is no way you're going to start learning this information and get these strategies and tips and techniques that I'm giving to you, and you don't see some increase in your income somewhere, because it's impossible for you not to if you put it to practice, okay? So I want to show you this course that we're on now. It's called the Income Ladder of Success. And it's in our Millionaire Blueprint. So if you are a part of any of our programs, when you go to Ramonepreston University and you log in on your dashboard, there is the course right there. It's called the Income Ladder of Success. So when you click on there, you will see this is the modules that make up this course. So we have an introduction. I'm explaining to you what the Income Ladder of Success is. I'm sharing with you information that we talked about today, facts about each class. I'm showing you here how to set your financial freedom target, because you got to set your financial freedom target. You got to have your target right. I'm sharing with you information on how to climb this ladder, things that you need to climb that ladder. I'm giving you some rules of the rich. And I'm talking about 5 keys to developing your relationship with money. Like, if you just took that one course and walked all the way through it within the next couple days, and you joined me this Saturday at 2 p.m. for our check-in, our first check-in during this campaign, I guarantee something in your mind is going to change. Something in your mind is going to shift. I'm not just trying to persuade you on something that's not real. This is real stuff. Information and knowledge, it flips a switch in you, and it changes who you are, which means it's going to change what you do. So if you want to be a part of our campaign, every Saturday for the next 3 Saturdays, we're going to have a check-in, and we're going to have a different course assignment. So if you want access to our courses, I just need you to text the word millionaire to this number, and we'll reach back out to you, because what we want to do is we want to assess your situation to see where you are and what exactly you need. Everybody's case is different. You may be up under extreme financial pressure and you just need one or two big strategies today to go out there and to find some low-hanging fruit. But whatever the case is, text Millionaire to the number 404-478-7213. If you are already a member of our programs and you have access to our Millionaire Blueprint, just go to the course, The Income Ladder of Success, and start training, and you'll get a text message and an email before 2 o'clock this Saturday for our check-in so that we can talk about it. I can answer any questions. We can give you some tips and strategies that you can use, and we're going to set you up for what we're going to be talking about next week. I promise you, if you listen to me, by the time we get to our Millionaire Mastermind, which by the way is free on Saturday, the 23rd of July, you're going to have a testimony. You're going to have a story. You're going to have a praise report to share with people that this is what happened to me just during this 3-week campaign that I was on with Ramon. So I love all of you. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining the Ramonepreston Show. I will see you tomorrow right here, same place, same time.